Welcome back to Inherited Dawn, a One Piece podcast. We are breaking down chapter 1131, and Robin, I don't even know where to start.
It's a dense chapter, but the end, that very last thing we heard?
Don't even say it yet. Just a giant yelling that Saul has fallen and can't get up? Are you kidding me? After everything, after Ohara, after finding out he was alive this whole time, he's down? It feels like a super punch to the gut. We've been building to this reunion for so long, and this is what greets us?
It's a chilling way to end. It changes everything we thought we knew about the safety of Elbaph. It was meant to be a fortress, an untouchable kingdom of warriors. That illusion has just been shattered.
Okay, you're right. That's the ending. We gotta back up and go through the whole chapter because, man, a lot happened before we even got there. The emotional whiplash in this chapter is off the charts.
Let's start at the top, or rather the bottom, with Luffy.
Right, so Luffy lands in Elbaph, and he's just freaking out seeing all the giants on the Great Arik, and you can feel his excitement. It's pure, unfiltered Luffy. All he can think about is how much Usopp would love this. It's his dream, and Luffy's living it for him in that moment, just hoping his sniper is getting a good look. And then this other giant, Loki, who's changed to the giant tree, finally gets his attention.
And he introduces himself with a title, the Sun God.
Wait, what? No, he tells Luffy he's in the presence of the Sun God and not to speak without permission. He's claiming the title for himself, which is insane because we know who the real Sun God is. It's Luffy, it's Nika. Is this guy just some poser, or does he not know? It has to be a title he gave himself.
It raises a number of questions. The title of Sun God clearly has a history in this world beyond Nika. Perhaps it's a common title for kings or powerful figures in different cultures. Or perhaps this Loki is deliberately co-opting a legend he knows is powerful. It feels like a direct challenge, even if he doesn't realize who he's speaking to.
And then we see his bounty poster, and it's a special bounty. 2.6 billion berries. That's insane. That's higher than Law and Kids bounties before Wano. It's right up there with the top commanders of Emperor crews. But that word, special, what does that even mean?
A special bounty is a very specific designation. It suggests he's not just wanted for piracy. He's a particular kind of threat to the world government. We've seen bounties for piracy, for revolutionary acts, but special implies something unique. Perhaps it's for knowledge he possesses, or a lineage he belongs to. It's a classification that sets him apart from common criminals, even powerful ones. He's dangerous in a way that goes beyond physical strength.
So this Loki guy's been chained up for 6 years, and he says the chains are sea stones, so he's a devil fruit user. They're not just any chains either. That collar looks thicker than anything I've seen outside of Impel Down. To restrain a giant of his size with sea stone, the resources for that alone are incredible. And the tree. Robin, the tree.
Treasure Tree Atom. The same wood used to build the Oro Jackson. The same wood used to build our Thousand Sunny. It's almost overwhelming to imagine it, to know it's really there. This is the source of legends.
It's more than that. It's personal. Tom-san told me about this wood, about the ship Roger sailed. He taught me that a shipwright puts their soul into the wood. Seeing this tree, the source of our Sunny, it feels like coming home to a place I've never been. Our ship carries a piece of Elbaph with her, a piece of this immense, unbreakable strength. It connects us, Roger's crew, and the giants all in one place. It's a super beautiful moment. But of course, this Loki guy is trying to ruin it by making a deal with Luffy. He'll take out a rival pirate crew if Luffy frees him.
It's a classic devil's bargain. He even reveals they're in the Underworld of Elbaph, a place for criminals. A prison at the roots of the world's strongest tree. There's a powerful bit of symbolism there. He tries to intimidate Luffy with these giant beasts, a hydra, a massive ape, creatures of myth.
Yeah, and that was the funniest part. He's like, "These beasts will kill you," and this intense, threatening music is practically playing in my head. But Luffy just looks at them and is like, "Oh, this reminds me of my training on Rusukaina." He's not scared at all. It's such a perfect Luffy moment. For 2 years, he fought things that would be the final boss in anyone else's story just to survive. This is nothing to him.
He has an innate ability to connect with creatures. Rayleigh chose that island for a reason. It wasn't just to make him physically stronger, but to hone that instinct. It's a quality of a king, the same quality Roger had. The ability to command respect, not through force, but through presence. But then the other prisoners there, these humans, mention Shanks.
And that's when Luffy's ears perk up. You can see the change in his whole demeanor. The fun and games are over. They said they hope they don't get knocked out like last time because of Shanks. So Shanks has been here, and he must have laid all these guys out with his conqueror's Haki. And while they're all shocked by this memory, Luffy just tames all the beasts with his own presence alone. No fists, no powers, just his own Haki. Loki can't believe it. He's sitting there, this self-proclaimed god, and this little guy just walked in and became king of his underworld without even trying.
But Loki sees an opportunity. He's clever. He senses Luffy's admiration for Shanks and decides to test him, to find a weakness he can exploit. He calls Shanks a coward.
Oh, big mistake. Huge. You could feel the temperature drop in that moment. Luffy doesn't even hesitate. He doesn't ask why. He doesn't argue. He goes straight to Gear 4th and tries to take Loki's head off. The punch was so fast. It wasn't about winning a fight. It was about defending his hero's honor. It's the same protective instinct he has for his crew.
And he dodged it. While chained up, with a sea stone collar, he dodged a Gear 4 attack from the man who defeated Kaido. Let's be clear about what that means. He's weakened by the sea stone, his devil fruit is useless, his movements are restricted, and he still had the speed and observation Haki to evade a full power attack from the man who defeated Kaido.
That's what I'm saying. This guy is strong. He's a monster. But then he immediately backtracks. "Oh, just kidding, just a test." You do not joke about Shanks to Monkey D. Luffy. That is rule number 1. Even Buggy knows that much. This guy has no idea who he's messing with.
But think about what this means. Loki is clearly a major player. He was imprisoned 6 years ago. What was happening in the world then? That was right around when Shanks became an emperor. This was before his meeting with the 5 elders. He was here, on Elbaph, and apparently got into a conflict with Loki's faction that ended with him knocking them all out. There's a history here we're only just beginning to see, a history that could redefine our understanding of Shanks.
And Loki knows it too. He's holding that info hostage to get Luffy to free him. He saw how Luffy reacted, and now he knows exactly which buttons to push. And inside his head, he's thinking he'll kill Luffy the second he's free. This guy is bad news. Super bad news.
A necessary evil, perhaps, or just a straightforward one. Luffy needs information, and Loki has it. He may be the only one who does. The question is what Luffy will do next. Will his desire for answers about Shanks outweigh his gut feeling about this man?
Okay, so while that's happening, we cut to Zoro, Usopp, and the others climbing up the tree, and it's a crazy scene. Usopp is freaking out, as usual, but you can't blame him. He looks back and sees that guy, Road, this giant with a wild, spiky design, running away from Gerd and Goldberg.
And Usopp's immediate conclusion is that Road must be the sun god because he looks like he was zapped by lightning. The logic is flawed, but born from the legends he reveres. It's what he wants to see.
Classic Usopp logic, man. He connects 2 dots that are in different zip codes. But the best part, Goldberg is carrying the Thousand Sunny. He just scooped up our ship and is running with it. I had a mini heart attack, not to lie. First, I was worried he was stealing it, but then I realized he must have taken it back from that Road guy. But still, be careful with her. She's a delicate lady.
He retrieved it from Road's castle, so the ship is safe, at least, for now. But they're being chased. It's a chaotic introduction to the kingdom proper. It seems we've landed in the middle of a pre-existing conflict.
Zoro, of course, wants to turn around and fight. He sees a chase, he sees swords, and his brain just goes, time to fight. Thank God for Usopp, who's like, no, wait, they could be friends with Dory and Broggy. Let's find a village first. He's the smart one for once. He's using his head. I'm so proud of him.
It's the right call. Running into a fight with giants in their own kingdom without any information is reckless, even for Zoro. Usopp's caution, which is often played for laughs, is their greatest asset in that moment.
True. Okay, then a quick check-in with Hadradin and Stanson. They took down a giant moose and are planning a big feast for the Straw Hats. I love it. The Grand Fleet is coming through for them. It's just so cool to see our allies already here preparing a welcome for the captain they admire so much. It makes Elbaph feel like our territory already.
It's a nice small moment. It reminds us that they have powerful allies here, that this isn't an island of enemies. It establishes a safe haven, a place of celebration, which makes the end of all this even more jarring. But the next scene, that's the one that really stood out to me.
On the Great Eric, with you and Brooke.
Yes, I asked Brooke for a haircut.
And he gave you your old hairstyle from back before the time skip, with the bangs. I saw that and I froze. It hit me like a ton of bricks. We haven't seen you like that in years. When Dory and Broggy see it, they say it's how you looked when you first met Saul. And me, Oimo, and Kashi, man, it just reminded us of Water 7, of Ennie's lobby. That was the Nico Robin we fought to save, the one who was afraid to live.
It felt necessary. To be back in the place where Saul is from, the home he always spoke of with such warmth, it felt right to return to the person I was when he saved me. It's a way of honoring his memory. It's a visual link to the child he gave his life to protect. It's me telling him, without words, that I haven't forgotten, that the little girl from Ohara is here to see him.
It's a heavy moment, you know? It's not just a haircut, it's you putting on your armor. It's you facing the biggest part of your past head on. It shows how much this all means to you. And Brooke was so nervous, his bony hands were shaking, but he did such a good job. That's our crew, taking care of each other in these quiet ways. He understood it wasn't just about trimming your hair. He was helping you prepare for a reunion a lifetime in the making. It's beautiful.
It is. It's a moment of quiet reflection before we arrive. A preparation, a way to steady myself for what was to come.
And then you do arrive. The Great Eric finally makes it to Elbaph. The fog clears. We see the scale of the place, this epic kingdom. The anticipation is at an all-time high. This is it, the moment we've been waiting for. And the first thing we hear is that shout.
The sun has fallen. He cannot get up.
No way. No. We just get this beautiful, emotional moment with you honoring him, preparing to see him again. And then the second we land, we hear he's down? What could possibly take out a giant like Saul? He was a vice admiral. He survived a buster call. This is Elbaph, the land of the strongest warriors. Who could do this?
That is the question. We've been led to believe Elbaph is a safe haven, a fortress. But someone or something powerful enough to fell a giant of Saul's stature is there, and they just made their move. The timing is too precise to be a coincidence. It happened just as we arrived.
I just can't imagine what you must be thinking, what the whole crew is going to be thinking when they hear that. After all this hope, you found out he was alive, you traveled all this way, you even got your hair cut just for him, and this happens? It's cruel. It's just super cruel.
It means the fight we were expecting is already here, and we've arrived right in the middle of it. There's no time for a happy reunion. The war for Elbaph has already begun.
Man, what a chapter. My heart's still pounding. Okay, let's do this. Predictions. What do you think happens next chapter? I've got a couple.
Go ahead.
Okay, first prediction. We're going to see Luffy make his own deal with Loki. He's not going to do what Loki wants, not just for some vague promise of help. He'll agree to break the chains, but on one condition. Loki tells him everything about Shanks right now. And Luffy won't need a key. He'll just use his advanced armament Haki to smash the Sea Stone collar, showing Loki he's on a completely different level.
A conditional release, forcing the transaction of information before the act of liberation. I could see that. Luffy can be surprisingly shrewd when it comes to things he truly cares about.
Second prediction. Usopp's group makes it to the village, but it's empty, or mostly empty. It looks like a battle just happened. Debris everywhere, signs of a struggle. They'll find evidence of what happened to Saul, and it's going to be related to the world government. Maybe they find a discarded marine jacket or a pacifista part. The world government would never leave Elbaph and its knowledge alone.
So you think the enemy is external, an invasion from the Marines?
Absolutely. They know we're heading for the final poneglyph. They know Elbaph is a likely spot. It's a preemptive strike. Which brings me to my final one. We cut back to Saul and we see who took him down. And it's not a giant. It's going to be Green Bull. I think he followed the Straw Hats from Wano, and his powers are perfect for taking down someone so connected to trees and forests. He can literally drain the life out of everything around him. A forest-based giant would be a prime target for the Mori Mori me.
An admiral on Elbaph? That would be a declaration of war on a scale we haven't seen since the Buster Call on my home. A very chilling possibility. Okay, my turn.
Let's hear it.
My first prediction is that Saul is not unconscious from a fight. The specific wording "has fallen and cannot get up" is key. I believe he has collapsed because he came into contact with something that triggered a memory of the Void Century. Perhaps a poneglyph he was protecting, or an artifact from Ohara. The fall is not physical, but mental. He has been overwhelmed by information, a cognitive collapse from bearing witness to a truth he wasn't meant to see.
Whoa, so he's like knocked out by information? That's a Robin prediction if I've ever heard one. Like his brain just short-circuited from too much history. That's a wild thought.
It would explain why the message is so specific. Cannot get up, not has been defeated or is injured. It implies a state of helplessness rather than the result of a battle. Second, Loki's story about Shanks won't be about a simple fight. He'll reveal that Shanks came to Elbaph 6 years ago to retrieve something, or someone, related to the final island. Perhaps it was a rubbing of their poneglyph, or even a person who could read them. Loki, as a prince or influential figure, may have seen this as a theft of their people's heritage and tried to stop him, leading to his defeat and imprisonment. Shanks's visit wasn't just social. It was a move in the game for the One Piece.
So Shanks wasn't just visiting. He was on a mission, and he took something vital from Elbaph. That would change a lot about how we see him. He's not just Luffy's goal. He's a serious competitor. I like that. What's your last one?
My last prediction is that the person Usopp saw, Road, isn't the one called the Sun God. That was a classic misunderstanding. The real Sun God of Elbaph is a title given to their master blacksmith. The lightning effect Usopp saw was from him forging a legendary weapon in the heart of the Great Tree. The reason he, Gerd, and Goldberg are chasing Road is because Road stole that newly forged weapon, or perhaps a different treasure from the forge. The conflict is internal, a simple case of theft that the Straw Hats have stumbled into.
A blacksmith god? A god of the forge? That makes so much sense for a warrior race like the Giants. Their strength comes from their weapons as much as their bodies. And it would be just like Oda to have a misunderstanding like that be the source of all the chaos. Man, I can't wait to see who's right. This next chapter is going to be a big one.
We'll find out soon enough. The dawn is coming to Elbaph, and it seems it will be a turbulent one.